Hey everyone, it's me, the Lucky Fate Reviewer, and as you cannot tell, if you could not tell by the video, by the man thing in the background of this video and the title, today we're talking about freaking Archimedes. Now, for the longest time, I always like context for this video. I recently just got done replaying Extella on my Switch, and 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 one of the last thing I did of course was play this man's side story. And wow, do I feel stupid for not figuring out a certain detail about him for the past 3 years, I guess. It's still came out in what freaking at least it came out in 2017. I want to say, yeah, 2017 because Link came out 2 years after that. So yeah, for the longest time, I always thought this man was basically he basically died, became a heroic spirit, and decided to just say, just basically chose the Velva over the moon cell and humanity, and I was wrong. Because going back and replaying his freaking side story, his first mission literally has him saying he's basically there to analyze the freaking arc in order to get data for the Sovereign. Because at that point of the story, the Grail War is still happening. So Archimedes is there in advance to get the data for the Sovereign, whoever wins the war. And basically, he's still on the moon's south side. Heck, he basically almost dies and basically is content with dying so long as he's doing his job for the moon cell. So no, he is not your cookie cutter villain. He was actually our ally once. It's just that, as we suspected, and as shown throughout the game, he's infected with Velber. Velber basically infected him and corrupted his freaking mindset to where he basically decides to bring about the end of humanity by destroy the jamming device that the moon sun has created to keep out the Umbral Star from coming back to Earth. And it's really odd finding out all this years later that Archimedes is on our side, but this does explain his freaking it does explain his role in a Link. It does explain that. Now, if for those who don't know, in Link, it's basically stated that we do not know Archimedes. I think this is just a mistranslation, but I could be wrong. It could be just, that's how it was stated, but I think people need to understand. Link follows the Golden Poem ending. It follows the events after the Golden Poem route. Remember, we still have 3 other routes. We have the Ultra route, which I don't know what would happen in that timeline, considering Hakuno basically disappears from that timeline completely. So, no idea what's going on with that timeline. Tamamo's freaking ending, and Nero's ending. The Archimedes we deal with throughout the Extella Link timeline, or not Link, but the original Extella timeline, is from Nero's route. Because we literally see him in his 3rd mission, basically recruiting Elizabeth by infecting her. And as we are told, this is right after Elizabeth's failed concert at Nero's freaking area, at Nero City. Nero City, whatever, for Nero Roma, I guess is what I've been seeing, I don't know. But it's late after that event where Archimedes runs into Elizabeth, and he basically infects her. And that's why from that point onwards, we see Elizabeth a part of freaking Archimedes' plans. Because up to that point, he hadn't really gotten Elizabeth on his side yet. It's only after that event that he does. So, the Archimedes we dealt with throughout all the other routes and into the Golden Poem route, has been the Archimedes from that original timeline. Now, of course, I guess the one issue that is presented is how exactly would he have gone and messed up Archer's timeline then? since we know he did do that, and that's why Archer is really in this timeline, in the regular normal Excel timelines. It's weird, but it it's never really explained. But I think aside from that small detail, everything else checks out. And when it comes to a link, what the Archimedes we're dealing with is the Archimedes from our timeline, one that did not get infected. Clearly, apparently, so I'm guessing. So I guess this also means in Tamamo's timeline and the Ultraverse timeline, there's also another Archimedes that never got infected by Velber, and we just don't see him. So basically, aside from the nearest route, all the other timelines, Archimedes is more or less successful. At least, I guess we assume? Again, it's not really clear cut. Because it's like, would he not have noticed the second Archimedes running around? Did he not do anything? It's very much a, why wasn't he concerned about the second Archimedes running around trying to basically bring back Velber, or was it just something he didn't notice? It's definitely weird, but again, this is so far makes the most sense from what we can tell. Archimedes basically came from Nero's timeline, and the Archimedes we fight end up starting Nero's timeline and basically been hop from one timeline to the next, hoping to basically get his perfect freaking world where basically the Regalia is destroyed, Ultra is unleashed, and the Umbral Star is basically beginning to make its way back to Earth, so it basically finishes its harvest. And again, it's kind of puts into perspective that Archimedes was supposed to be on our side, but Velba infected him and caused him to basically go to its side. Again, for anyone who thinks who doubts me, go back and replay that first mission and read through Archimedes' dialogue. And the moment he survives that basically what was supposed to be an explosion that killed him, Archimedes starts acting as we more or less see him in the actual game. So no, Archimedes is not evil. It's just that once Spellbar got his hands on him, he got corrupted and basically turned evil. Of course, this does question what happened with Elizabeth, but as we see, basically, Elizabeth isn't as easy to control as we see. I think that's the issue. Billboard can't exactly control her as easy as it can with as easy as it can with the other. Either that, or this Elizabeth is straight up the Elizabeth from the Golden Poem timeline, in that Elizabeth from actually never mind, because my room dialogue with Elizabeth has to bring up a cave, which is supposed to be a reference to the Zero Dock and basically her being trapped in it. So I think the Elizabeth we are dealing with in Link is actually the normal basically the Elizabeth that's been timeline hopping along with Archimedes. It's just that, Elizabeth is Elizabeth, and Velba can't exactly control her like he can Archimedes. Elizabeth is just so crazy that even it can't really deal with her properly. So I guess that's why? Again, it's kinda hard to say, but that's basically gonna be my best guess. But yeah, that's kinda it. Again, I just kinda was blown away by the fact that what I thought was an original, basic, weird choice for a character shift was actually just, from Excel to Link was basically just let me rephrase that. A character shift from Extella to Link is just, how he's supposed to be compared to him being affected by Velber. Because Archimedes in Link is more or less just chill. He's kind of just there. He's kind of like, all right, I'll just go along with it. I don't really mind. Also, finally figured out how to actually play with Archimedes, because that was one of the things I never figured out how to do in Extella. I never figured out how to exactly to use his like some of the mirror thing. And for the longest time that was annoying, and basically when I was playing through on my Switch, I finally figured out how to do that mirror thing. And man, is that thing OP. Yeah, that I was way over low, but it's one or the other. But yeah. But yeah, basically that's gonna be more or less it. Yeah. Archimedes is not as clear cut as we thought, and I really do hope we basically get some more. We see more freaking in the next either whatever game comes after the Link, or we get them in Grand Order. Seriously, though, Grand Order. It's been what? Extella came out in 2016, right? It came out in 2016. Well, not Grand Order, but Link. Extella came out in 2016. It's been what? 4 years at this point. Bring the boy to a freaking Grand Order already. Come on now. I'm sure they would appreciate someone like Archimedes who can actually do, system stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. Just a discussion video about Archimedes and how he's not exactly the clear-cut villain we all thought he was, because I'm sure he acts as a villain throughout the story, but it's very much clear that's not how it started. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.